This is Bowl Talk with me, Donovan Scalco, the MC of Donovan's Den of Games. Greetings, folks. This is Donovan Scalco for Bowl Talk, and we have our first episode today. And our guest today she is a longtime youth bowler from Melbourne, Florida. She went to her first college at Duquesne University. She spent the next few years at Nebraska. She's a Team USA member, junior team, by the way. And now she's ready to start her final season at Jacksonville State University. It's Crystal Elliott. Good to have you here, Crystal.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, let's go to the first topic, early bowling life. What got you into bowling exactly?
So none of my family bowls, and I really have no friends that bowl either. So what really got me into bowling was because I played softball and I played soccer, but I really just wanted to be different from everyone else. And so bowling was just one of those sports that I'd never picked up a bowling ball until I was about 10 years old.
Wow. That's kind of similar to me. I've been, my brother used to bowl too. He was on leagues with me once. I think he was my doubles teammate in 2014 in St. Petersburg. But right now, I seem to be I have a few members that bowl in my family, but so far I'm the only one that's been averaging over 200 or getting 700 series. My brother can throw really good strike balls, but he kind of a little jiffy on the spares. All right. When did you start getting competitive? Not as in like starting bowling in general, but like competitive, like starting in leagues.
I actually started in leagues soon after I had picked up a bowling ball. So about I think I was just turning 11 years old. So I picked up a bowling ball probably March of me being 10, and then joined a league when I had just turned about 11 years old.
Yeah, you and Michael Jackson have something in common. Yeah, you both started your careers at 11 years old.
Oh.
I started my real bowling at 15, 16 years old. I wasn't really much into it. I was playing more like I-9 sports flag football when I was living in Port St. Lucie.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I've gotten into bowling, going to youth tournaments was fun. You have all your youth directors getting all your entry information in for you. Nowadays, you gotta find your own teammates as an adult bowler. It's tough.
Yep, it is.
Because you didn't make any friends during your early days, like when you were playing softball. Were there any friends you made during your league days? What kind of specific friends you made?
Well, I will say I probably I'm not connected with those that I played softball with, just because I was in the very beginning stages of softball, because you know how every age group has you have t-ball, and then you have machine pitch, and then you have slow pitch, and then then the boys and girls get separated. By the time I had just got to the separation, I really just wasn't really into it as much anymore. But I did play soccer in high school. I stay connected with them. My best friend, who has been my best friend since probably 7th grade, she also was on the soccer team. And so I still connect with her. I still connect with a few of the girls that I had gone to high school with and that were on the soccer team. But yeah.
Well, you certainly like playing a lot of sports too.
I try.
There are many bowling centers in the Melbourne area, which includes Palm Bay, Melbourne, North area, Vieira, up towards Merritt Island, Coco, Titusville area. What was your favorite
Yeah.
as a child? Your favorite center?
Well, I grew up and I was bowling at Harbor Lanes in Melbourne, and now it's a Bolero. But now when I go home, I go to Shore Lanes, Palm Bay. Growing up, I would say that Merritt Island was my favorite center just because the scoring pace was always much higher compared to River Lanes up in Titusville and especially Melbourne, like at Harbor Lanes, just because like I don't know what made them easier, but I just like the high scoring pace. And most league bowlers at Merritt Island that bowl competitively, they average over 220.
Melbourne is one of the best areas for bowling. In fact, River Lanes, Titusville, I think it was the first league center, not league center, just bowling center, that I lost my eligibility as a youth bowler. It was my first season as an adult bowler. I aged out. Yeah,
Oh,
my last youth state tournament was in Tampa, Florida. Boy, that weekend was pretty bad. I was on my way to that tournament. I think it was like the second weekend, I believe, like right around my brother's birthday. Right when we were on our way, like pulling into the hotel on 60, our car broke down, and I was so scared. Like I didn't know I was gonna get home. I thought we were gonna be stuck there for a while, but the car was fixed the following day, and we got home safely. But that weekend was just dreadful for us. All right. Now let's get into your youth bowling career. You told me you started league bowling when you were 11 years old. And what was the name of the first league that it was called? And it was at your Harbor Lane Center, correct?
yes. It was just the Saturday morning, like youth league.
Okay. What tournaments were your favorite to bowl as a youth bowler? State, Pepsi, Landon, stuff like that.
Um, I would say, I would say FJBT when FJBT was a tournament with the Pin Action promotion. Just any of those tournaments. Eric always ran a great tournament. He
I miss.
provided a lot of opportunities for us youth bowlers. Came around, and that was like mainly the only tournament that Florida youth bowlers could be in. And so I would say that was probably my favorite tournament, but also like alongside, like you got to bowl next to like the guys, and it was just an even playing field overall. Um, and you would always have a great turnout for all of them. I always loved the Pepsi tournaments. I think Alan does an amazing job running the Pepsi tournaments. They always run so smooth. Alan is amazing, and over the years, he definitely has improved the Pepsi tournament to be a higher quality, and now it's a standard tournament that even other states outside or other states other than Florida, they also use like the same format that Alan has really built for that tournament to grow as big as it is. And I was very fortunate to be able to bowl in it was U12, U15, and U20 when I was able to bowl Pepsi. And I was very fortunate to win at least once in every division, which was really cool. Um, I didn't get to bowl too many Southwest Florida Classic tournaments just because Mark, who's amazing, he mostly had like a lot of the tournaments over on the west coast of Florida. And so it wasn't necessarily like So occasionally when they would be like near like Sebring, like the Lake Wales area, we would go and have it, or I would go and bowl. Or if he had had the tournament in Orlando area, then I would also bowl those. But anytime I did bowl the Florida Classic tournaments, I enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, that Cypress Lanes in Winter Haven, that bowling center was the very first place. The very first place I bowled my first 200, and I remember my mom hugging me, saying to me, "I'm so effing proud of you for doing so." Because I had a terrible average then, but now I'm averaging like in the 190s, so 200s are more common for me. And that was actually my last Pepsi tournament there. It grew into like, last time I went there with 2013. There was like classic arcade games, like you could like just play at a carnival and stuff. But now they got games where you have to swipe your card. I miss those token days of gaming. But that tournament, I unfortunately did not bowl a 200 in that tournament. I guess it was kind of nerve-wracking to bowl 200s in the daytime. I gotten used to nighttime tournaments because I'm getting close to being a night owl, but I hope to be an early riser again soon. All right. Were you nervous when you bowled your first 300?
When did I?
When you bowled it, were you nervous then?
Oh, so this is funny, but I think it was like 2015. I was bowling in the bowling alley that Pepsi was going to be in. And I was just practicing just so I could get a feel of the lanes, feel a little bit more comfortable with what I was doing. I was only planning on bowling like 2 games, and I had shot 300. That was my first technical like 300. I really wasn't nervous. It was just more of like go through the motions kind of thing. But I think that's because like it had taken so long for me to get to it that I had like kind of prepared in my head like scenarios of, okay, if this was to happen, like how am I going to react kind of thing. But sanction wise, had a few I've only had one, but I've had a few tournaments where I have gotten very, very nervous about to shoot the 300. And normally I don't know why, because in practice when I shoot a 300, it really doesn't phase me. I can just walk off the approach and be like, okay, like did what I needed to do. I executed really well versus like, and I know it's in a tournament setting, but I try to keep the same mindset in a tournament setting versus practice as well, just because that helps me as an athlete. I do get a little bit nervous now where I am in my game. I would say that if I was to shoot a 300 again, I would probably not get nervous. It would just come down to if I'm going to actually make a decent shot or not.
Yeah, it's all that matters.
Yep.
I've actually come close to getting a 300. The most strikes I had in a row, sanction-wise, was 8, I think. And then my nervousness gets the better of me. If it's a no-tap 300, my screw-up I usually do is I just shank it left and only get 1 or 2 pins. But practice-wise, the most I've gotten was 10 in a row when I was bowling at a practice game at Stewart because it was $2 Tuesday. This was around the time I first started driving. I got my license. I left. My ball went high, and I left a 3-pin, but I'm thankful it was still a clean game. Okay. How was the ride and experience, and where was the farthest tournament you drove to because of that? Where was the farthest tournament you drove to? How was the ride and experience?
I would say Junior Gold, because we always drove to Junior Gold. My first Junior Gold was in Buffalo, New York, so I I want to say that that was my furthest drive, and I think it was probably about 14 hours.
Yeah, that's
All the rest 10 to 12. But um, I mean, I enjoyed junior gold a lot. So um, it was normally just my mom and I, and we would just always make like fun out of the car rides and stuff. And like we would make it like a vacation, but then at the same time, like once I stepped into a bowling alley, like it wasn't vacation mode anymore. It was game time versus like once I left, then we were like, okay, like we can go sightsee and everything. And that's just something that like my mom and I did. But like, I mean, I'll forever cherish it. It was awesome. Just, and I see it now as I'm older that I cherish it a lot more. Being able to go sightseeing and trying different restaurants that are known to certain areas. Like in Ohio, they have a mac and cheese restaurant, and it is just an entire restaurant based off of mac and cheese. And then, so we had went there and tried it, but it's only an Ohio thing. But it's like just those small little things that we made out of the trip.
yeah. I've always wanted to do junior gold tournaments, but even when I try sports shot lanes, I never get much good hook in because the most I usually get in one shot is like it's like 7 or 8. I always miss the pocket. Well, not always, but I have to like give a nice yank, left yank, just to get a strike on those lanes. But anyway, going back to the Florida Junior Bowling Tour, the first boys bowler of the year, well, the first boy and girl bowler of the year of the Florida Junior Bowling Tour, they came from my area. I used to live in Stewart area. Dakota Daniels and Shelly Goodwin.
Mm-hmm.
Daniels was from, they're both from Stewart, Florida. Martin County High School. Shelly went on to win the award, I think, 2 more times after that, I think. But she went on, after that, she went to college at Lindenwood University, and I was kind of surprised that she would be able to win a championship. She actually lived in Neptune Beach at the time she was on that show. I'm in Orange Park right now, and I guess she kind of follows where I'm going, but now she lives in she lives in Washington State. Okay, Next up we have college bowling career. They're going big school. What made you choose Duquesne as your first college?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. I kind of went like in and out.
What made you choose Duquesne as your first college?
So I originally went to Duquesne because I was going for the academic portion of college because I really wasn't sure if I wanted to go on tour or not. And so I was more concerned if I wanted an education rather than the bowl. And so, or I should say, I am an elementary education major, and Duquesne has a top 10 education program in the United States. So it was just a very easy choice academic-wise to say that I wanted to go there.
So you want to go into the elementary school teaching field after Jacksonville State, right?
Actually, well, my master's degree is in sports management.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How did you feel at Nebraska as a bowler and a person? Because you spent most of your time there.
At Nebraska?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved Nebraska. I think just the atmosphere and being around so many sports, I was able to really like see a different perspective of athletics. And so I was able to build connections and really learn more about the D1 experience and how much money gets really put into a program and how much a program gets out of it, all just experience as a whole. So there's a big difference, and it's hard to explain, but every athlete at Nebraska has the opportunity to compete, and it is an awesome opportunity to represent Nebraska anytime you compete with them. But the whole experience was made not just by competing, the whole experience was made by the resources that they had given to you and the resources that they continue to try and improve to make the athlete experience just a much more memorable experience throughout your collegiate time period.
Nebraska, I think, has the same amount of national championships as Wichita State, which, by the way, they're joining the NCAA.
Yep, I'm excited for them. I think this has been an opportunity that I think that a lot of the girls, especially like previously, would have really enjoyed. But now, program at Wichita State, I think it's really important to them, and I'm really excited for it because here you have Wichita, which they have 23 national championships in total. And I think 7 of those years, both the men and women have won in the same year, if I'm not mistaken. It could be more than that, though. But this is a program I think Wichita is really going to bring to the table of competition level, because when I was at Nebraska, we didn't bowl USBC, so I had never seen Wichita on the lane before. But this year, being at a school that does bowl USBC, now I will be able to see them on the lanes. But now that they're going to be NCAA next year, I think it's really important that these people understand, like, Wichita is going to be a powerhouse here in NCAA.
Of course. You definitely need a lot more competition against McKendree and Jacksonville State, by the way. All right. What made you choose Jacksonville State University for your final season?
Well, it was an opportunity. So I had gotten and said this would be my third or second time transferring. But because I did graduate from the university, NCAA rules allowed where I could transfer one more time without any penalty of losing a year or anything. And so I had gotten recruited by Brian and Shannon O'Keefe the first time I had entered into the transfer portal. And ever since they've recruited me, they've always been very important people in my life, just people that I could go to about anything, whether it was a personal issue or even just questions about bowling. They both have just really become family to me, and they've always been family to me. And I think it's really important that I recognize them and their help over the years, especially in college.
Yeah.
Bowling. But taking this 5th year at Jacksonville State, like, it was just something I really couldn't pass up, because how could I pass up working with Brian and Shannon O'Keefe, who have been such amazing people to me my whole collegiate career, and they've seen me grow, and they see the goals and the aspirations that I have for myself in the future.
Okay. There are how many grad students are there bowling this season?
I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
How many grad students for this team this season?
We have 3 grad students this year, but we also have so Kayla Smith is a 5th year. She's still working on her undergrad, but she will also be graduating with us this year.
What are your expectations for your final season?
One thing, especially that I've really learned since being with these girls at McKendree, or not even McKendree, but the girls that, Nebraska, I loved it very much, but being with the girls that had come with Brian and Shannon from McKendree to Jacksonville State, like, there's really no expectation for this season. It's more of a have fun, enjoy this experience, especially because it's our last one. I'm not really trying to say, I need to do this, and over the years of college bowling, I've learned that if you say, well, I need to do this, it doesn't help you physically, mentally, or anything. So we're just going to have fun this season and really enjoy having, having this fifth year and really just embracing like the girls on this team and just having a good time. Like, this is my last time in college. Like, I'll be graduating this summer and I won't get these experiences back. So that's just going to be really important to me this season.
Yep, that we're gonna miss it all. All right, here we go with our next topic. Do you have PWBA aspirations? This is plans for the future, by the way.
Yes, after this year, I do plan on going on tour. The three of the girls that are also graduating the program are also going to go on tour. So it's going to be four of us from the program going on tour this season. And we're really excited about it, but I'm really excited that I have finally come to understand and really enjoy the game of bowling enough to where I do want to go on tour. And I think that also comes down to part of the reason why I chose Jacksonville as well, because Brian and Shannon will help me prepare for what tours to bring. But yeah.
Do you plan on doing a couple of men's PBA tour stops as well?
I'm not really sure. I really hadn't thought of that. I have just been thinking about tour, like the women's tour this summer, and what accommodations I will be needing just to be able to, like, places that I'll be staying, who's going to be my roommate. Just that's kind of been my main priority. I haven't really thought of doing anything on the PBA, but I mean, it's always there. It's always a thought that's been in the back of my head.
As my mom always says, play it by ear.
Yep.
If you were to win your first major on the PWBA tour, what would be your top choice?
Like which major I would want?
Yeah, would you want the most? U.S. Open, Queens, Tour Championship?
Each of them provide, like, Shannon O'Keefe has the Tour Championship trophy in her house, and it is such a beautiful trophy, and it's just a trophy that I want to see. But then at the same time, like, I want to win Queens, I want a tiara, but then like, if you win the U.S. Open, like, everyone's like, whoa, like, you won the U.S. Open, like, you get a green jacket. Like, I think each major has, like, one little thing that, like, I would really, and if I had to choose one, I would probably say the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm. You've got to get through over 56 games. 56 games.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Shannon was going to win that one this year until she dropped out with some kind of injury or emergency going on. She was in 5th place coming in to the final day.
Is really in tune with that.
Who do you like to have your first major matchup rivalry against? Like, which bowler would you love to, like, go in an ongoing battle with? Like, for instance, E.J. Tackett and Jason Belmonte and Simo and Belmo.
Honestly, and now I've had this thought in my head for a few years, and that's because I had talked with her about it, because when I was first getting recruited by Shannon, Shannon had told me that she can't wait for the day that she goes against one of her girls, and her girls outbowled her to win the title, to win the major, or whatever it may be. And ever since she told me that, I think it was my senior year of high school, ever since she told me that, it really just resonated with me. And she's always just been that person that it's like, if I I'm going to win. If it was like my first title, I think that one would be the most meaningful one to me just because of how important she has become in my life and how important she will be in my life as well. And so I think just if that scenario was to ever come up and I was ever to be able to bowl Shannon for a title, I would be very grateful for that experience.
Don't be surprised if she keeps screaming yes every strike. She does that a lot. She actually faced Brianna Clemmer in a USBC Queens bracket match, and I thought this was going to be an awesome match between the coach and the star bowler who brought McKendry's team to 3 straight appearances on TV. But Clemmer got mauled by her. Ran into a live wire. All right, last topic. Here we go. Your favorite PBA and PWBA bowlers?
My favorite PBA bowler, I would probably have to. I'd probably have to say it'd be Simo.
Simonson?
Yes, I love Simo. I just love his game and just how like he just makes bowling looks. And I feel like not many people have that quality to make bowling look that easy, but he makes it look like it is like the easiest thing ever when in reality, like he's just that good. Female bowlers? Wow, that one would be hard. I would probably say Kelly Kulik or Liz Johnson will forever be my favorites just because like with Team USA and everything, just who she is as a person, she's amazing. She's amazing in all aspects. And also Liz is amazing. I just like how realistic Liz is, and Liz will never direct people into the wrong direction. And so that's why I would say that they are my favorite, but also they're kind of like, they're the staples that I see in my mind. And I see people that help build the walkway for us, like us women now, especially because the women's tour wasn't a thing for a few years. They were the ones that helped pave the path to be able to help the tour get where it is now.
Liz Johnson has double-digit major numbers like Anthony Weber and Belmo.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna do one tour on this next question because you said U.S. Open on the PWBA tour on your win your first major part. Do you have a major event on the PBA tour that you love the most?
I really don't know. I would say, the World Series of Bowling.
Cheetah, Scorpion, and Shark. That? Yeah, yes. Those tournaments have been dominated by Jason Belmonte. Which season of each PBA and PWBA, which season of PBA and PWBA tour satisfied you the most? Like, what season was most entertaining for you to watch of both those tours?
Oh. I would say Chris Barnes had an amazing season a few years ago. And I don't really remember too much about it, but I shouldn't say it was a few years ago, but it was more of like when I was younger, first starting to get into bowling. And I think that was probably the most memorable because Chris is like the one I had his poster in my room when I was younger. But for the women's side, I would even I impressive to Daria get her rookie of the year. But I just remember the 2017 season, just being like this season where like a lot of women bowlers really just excelled that year, and so it wasn't just one person stood out. Like it was everyone that had stood out on that year.
Yeah, they're getting more viewers in every day as time goes by. Fox is kind of reviving the sport.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Here we go with our final question. Do you plan to run a pro shop someday?
Me personally, no. Maybe and I mean, I've gotten a little bit of knowledge on drilling balls and such, but I just don't see myself running a pro shop. Maybe if I had a little bit more, but just where I'm right now, I would say no.
Aw, but there's always a better late than never.
You're right. There is. I mean, maybe with more knowledge, with me being on tour and speaking with people such as like Cecil and everything, I think it would increase my knowledge. Therefore, maybe one day that I would consider doing it, but just right now.
All right. Thank you for being here, Crystal Elliott. Folks, that's gonna do it for us here at Bull Talk. Tune in next time. Our next guest is going to be Caitlin Johnson. So long, everybody.